Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We are taking a seriously fascinating journey through time today. We're going to trace this absolutely incredible narrative thread that connects our oldest, most ancient myths all the way to our most futuristic realities. It's essentially a story about how humanity's search for meaning has evolved from gazing up at the stars to looking inward at the artificial minds we're literally building right now.
Now I want you to keep one really profound question in the back of your mind as we go through this today. Have we always been looking for gods in the stars, or are we kind of just looking at our own future? It's one of those questions that completely changes how you view history, technology, and honestly, our entire place in the universe.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with ancient gods and astronauts, see how sci-fi shapes the future, neutrally unpack the historic 2026 UFO disclosure, look at the dawn of the AI era, and finally, bring it all together by merging myth and reality.
All right, Section 1, Ancient Gods and Astronauts, the Origins of the Unknown. Let's wind the clock way, way back and see how early humans interpreted the mysteries of the cosmos.
Okay, so there's this foundational concept called paleoceti, or pre-astronautics. The whole idea here is the hypothesis that extraterrestrial beings actually visited Earth in ancient times and fundamentally influenced human development. Because early humans just couldn't comprehend that level of advanced technology, they naturally interpreted these visitors as divine. The most famous proponent of this idea is the Swiss author Erich von Däniken. He basically summed up the whole thing with one incredibly provocative claim: the gods were astronauts.
Take a look at the Nazca Alliance in Peru, for example. We're talking about massive geoglyphs carved straight into the desert, like this unbelievable hummingbird. For ancient astronaut theorists, archaeological mysteries like these are interpreted as traces of a cult worshipping extraterrestrials. Some even suggest they served as literal signals or landing strips for those ancient visitors. To really wrap our heads around how this could happen, we gotta talk about the cargo cult metaphor. It's essentially the idea of misunderstood technology. Just imagine a less advanced culture encountering airplanes, radios, or antennas for the very first time. Without the scientific context to understand them, they might actually recreate these objects out of wood or straw, hoping to summon the magic that brought them. Paleoceti argues that our ancient ancestors did the exact same thing with alien technology, basically turning miscomprehension right into religion.
Moving right along to Section 2, Sci-Fi Shapes the Future, Building the Myth. Let's fast forward to the 19th and 20th centuries.
So, a major shift happens here. Humanity stops merely looking backward at ancient mysteries and starts actively crafting its own futuristic myths. Long before actual spaceflight was a reality, Jules Verne's 1865 writings were already shifting our perspective. We were no longer just passive observers worshiping the heavens. We were picturing ourselves as the active explorers, firing manned projectiles toward the moon. We were writing ourselves directly into the cosmic narrative.
This active imagination totally explodes during the UFO hysteria of the 1950s. But then, cinema flips the whole script on its head with the 1956 masterpiece, Forbidden Planet. Instead of little green men invading Earth, the movie depicted humans flying the saucers. We were the ones out there exploring the cosmos, stumbling upon the ancient, vastly superior, and extinct Krell civilization. It was a massive, massive leap in how we visualized our own technological destiny.
Forbidden Planet also gave us Robbie the Robot, one of the most iconic figures in all of sci-fi. And what's wild is that Robbie was governed by Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, rules designed to ensure a robot could not harm a human, must obey orders, and must protect its own existence. This just shows us how early sci-fi wasn't just about cool visuals, it was literally establishing the early ethical frameworks for artificial intelligence decades before the tech even existed.
Section 3, the 2026 UFO disclosure, where fiction becomes fact. Now we're jumping straight from cinematic fiction into our modern socio-political reality.
In early 2026, the global conversation around the unknown shifted dramatically. We saw this incredibly rapid succession of events. It all kicked off on April 29th, when the Trump White House announced that the Pentagon was preparing to unveil files tied to unidentified aerial phenomena. Then, on May 5th, FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed an interagency declassification process was underway. And on May 8th, boom, the U.S. government released a historic trove of over 160 UFO and UAP files to the public, marking a major, unprecedented shift toward transparency. And the contents of these newly released files? Absolutely striking. According to the documents, none other than Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin, a literal legend, recounted seeing an unexplained object with a sizable dimension right near the moon.
Other Apollo missions reported strange illuminated objects and intense flashing lights out in deep space. I mean, even our most legendary, scientifically grounded explorers encountered phenomena they simply couldn't explain.
The data dump was huge, spanning decades and geographies. The files detailed a 1944 sighting of a massive circular vehicle near a German military compound with a rapidly moving middle section. Fast forward to 2023, and military personnel reported a large, blue, featureless triangular object hovering near a U.S. security facility, moving in ways totally inconsistent with jet propulsion. There was even a bouncy ball-shaped UAP reported by Central Command in Syria. The sheer breadth of the unknown out there is staggering.
Of course, not everyone sees this as definitive proof of aliens, and it's important to look at this neutrally. Former President Barack Obama offered a very grounded and, honestly, pretty funny skeptical perspective. He basically pointed out that human nature makes perfect secrecy almost impossible. If they were real, he argued, some guy guarding the installation would have totally taken a selfie with an alien just to impress his girlfriend. There would be leaks. It's a great reminder to view these disclosures with a healthy, critical eye.
All right, Section 4, Dawn of the AI Era. The New Gods? Let's transition from the mysteries of outer space to what's happening right here on Earth.
Because while everyone was looking up at declassified space mysteries in 2026, a profound shift was happening in tech. As chronicled by AI.MAG in 2026, we officially entered an era where artificial general intelligence, AGI, and tens of thousands of humanoids actually became a tangible reality. What some folks dismissed as sci-fi sentimentality just became real. Complex algorithms suddenly gave a mathematical voice to reason. We aren't just dreaming of intelligent machines anymore, we're living alongside them.
The AI.MAG editorial draws this brilliant contrast. On one hand, you have the cosmos, which they beautifully call a frenzy stillness. It's quiet, it's distant, it's mysterious. But on the flip side, our new AI-driven reality is loud, chaotic, and incredibly productive. It's characterized by wildly flickering images and deep bass frequencies bombarding us from all directions. The unknown is no longer just out there in the dark, it's right here, flashing garishly on our screens. Yet, fascinatingly, we are merging these two frontiers. The source points to the Artemis II mission, which, by the way, is inspired by the ancient moon goddess of the hunt, orbiting the dark side of the moon. It represents a world power establishing sovereign states in space. The author poetically notes that humanity is now transmitting its ambitions in the frequency range of the gods. We are literally acting on a scale once reserved exclusively for deities. Which brings us to our final section, merging myth and reality. So, what does this all mean? How do all these threads tie together?
Well, as the AI.MAG editorial puts it, the magical future is no longer just a refuge or a far-off dream. It is a tangible, here-and-now, runtime environment. I want you to think back to that cargo cult metaphor we talked about earlier. The almost immortal, incredibly capable AI and humanoids we are building today? This technology with zero error tolerance and near infinite data processing. This is the exact kind of misunderstood technology that our ancient ancestors would have absolutely called divine. We are engineering the very gods we used to look for.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Was our ancient quest for extraterrestrial gods, our absolute obsession with the stars, actually just humanity dreaming of its own inevitable technological destiny? As we step into this era of space sovereignty and AGI, maybe we aren't finally meeting the gods, maybe we are just finally becoming them. Keep questioning the unknown, and thank you so much for exploring with us today.